In today's Kusama Eco update, I'm going to talk about the latest update from the Crowdloans to see what is the current status, and I'm going to bring this to you every single day because this is where the action is at. Then we'll talk about Karura. They've got some big updates as well with regards to staking KSM on their platform, KSM liquid staking basically, and then we'll talk about Calamari because there have been some updates from Calamari which I know the community has wanted me to cover, and it's in relation to their latest update with regards to an IDO, which people are not really happy about. So stay tuned till the end to find out what's going on and then to kind of give you my thoughts on that as well. Now let's kick it off with the Crowdloans. So we could see here Basilisk have surprised us all. They've actually maxed their cap before the bidding even started, so absolutely amazing. Like the FOMO is unreal with Basilisk here, 222.22 KSM, and I know that they've reached what was it, 115k I believe it was in the first batch, and of course Bifrost won, but it just shows you like the demand is absolutely humongous and more people are investing more money into KSM, because if we're seeing this much KSM getting locked up for Kilt, then for Calamari, and now for Basilisk, like we've got over 200k in the next, like in the top three parachain auctions, we're seeing over 200k KSM locked. So that's over 600k KSM. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a little bit more than what Karura had locked up. And again, it's not the same large amount as we've seen in the first batch because a lot of it was locked up for Karura, but nevertheless, more people are buying KSM, and it just shows you, right? It's driving up the price of KSM, not as much as we'd like to see it, but still it's doing very well. So anyway, to continue on, so now that they're maxed out, I mean, it does not guarantee that they're going to win. They do still have some potential competition, although I highly doubt that anyone else can compete with them at this stage. But if Altair was to max out their cap, they would not be able to compete, right? So they would not actually win the 8th auction. Basilisk could still win it. However, if Parallel Heiko were to go over it, then they could possibly win against Basilisk because they've got a max cap of 400k KSM, though I highly doubt that this is going to happen, right? It's just a probability, right? A very small probability, I should say. Kintsugi 200k, and by the way, Kintsugi have made a nice comeback here. You can see they've popped to 24k. They're actually really planning to push this. The marketing for their Crowdloan, they really want to win the 10th auction, so they will be fighting their hardest against Parallel Heiko. So we'll have to see, because at the end of the day, Kintsugi's tokenomics beat Parallel Heiko's tokenomics, so it depends. I mean, does the retail investor want to contribute to a project that's mostly owned by VCs like Parallel Heiko and only gives you 2% distribution, or do you want to contribute to something that's more community owned like Kintsugi, right? Of course, there are some investors in Kintsugi too, but it is community owned at the end of the day, right? I mean, the majority of the supply goes to the community, so that's the bullish thing. And I mean, and we're talking about the 1 year supply, right? Because remember, in the first 4 years, we're gonna have the 10 million total supply. 4 million is gonna be in the first year, with 1 million allocated to the Crowdloans, okay? Because I have covered this when I was talking about the Kintsugi Crowdloan. So this is just to quickly remind you about that. But anyway, we've got a lot to cover in today's video, so just quickly want to show you the auction section here. So you could see that in 11 hours and 5 minutes, the auction ending period is due to start. So what that means, that bids are going to be submitted for Basilisk. So the auto bids are going to start, and then of course, because Basilisk is the top one in the list here on subviz.io, they're going to be the ones winning every single bid unless somebody can surpass the 222.22k KSM contribution, which like I said, I very highly doubt it. And then I do think that for the 9th auction, we're going to see Altair win. Just a kind reminder, in the description of this video, you can find the ref link to Altair if you want to contribute. I would very much appreciate it. We each get 5% extra bonus on top of your base bonus, which is 400 air for each 1 KSM. So thank you for that. But now let's move on and talk about Karura here. Karura has quite the news here, and I think this is the reason why the price has been doing so well now. But before we get into this, I just want to give a big thank you to today's channel sponsors, BitSwapDex, for sponsoring this video. So let's watch this short clip and then we'll continue on to get into Karura and then of course Calamari. Stay tuned.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
So to continue on here, staking has arrived, and not just any staking. KSM liquid staking has arrived, and to celebrate, Akala's kicking off with a 2-week liquidity mining program to reward the Karura community with 350,000 KOR. This was posted in their latest Medium article here, and this is going to be starting from Tuesday, September 28th, and anyone can earn from a total of 350,000 in rewards when they stake KSM for LKSM. So basically the way it works is you stake KSM and you generate LKSM, which is the liquid form. Now remember that LKSM is not going to be worth exactly the same amount as KSM. So there is a little bit of a catch there, but this is the beauty of it because you will actually get this reward. And we're going to talk about this article here. So let's actually try to understand what's going on. Okay, we're not going to be looking at this because we already know what this section is here. If you want to read it, you can find a copy of this article, by the way. But let's talk about this part. So Karura introduces a new product that continues to help optimize DeFi earning strategies. KSM Liquid Staking, the unlocked yield-bearing staking derivative that empowers users to stay liquid while earning their Kusama staking rewards. So this is pretty much how it works. As you can see here, you can stake KSM, you generate LKSM. Okay, it's as simple as that. I've covered this in a tutorial in the past where you basically go to apps.karura.network. That's the name of the website. You connect your Polkadot.js wallet, which you could see on the top right hand corner of the screen. You see your balance, you go to liquid staking, and then it's simple as basically sending your KSM to your address, and then you can generate LKSM by staking on their platform. There is a limitation, I think it's 3,000 KSM, which is quite a lot anyway. So yeah. Let's talk about this. So as any Kusama supporter knows, staking KSM not only benefits the network by aligning security and consensus trees nominated proof of stake, but it also rewards the users with additional KSM. In fact, staking KSM can generate favorable yield for holders. However, up to this point, there have been several challenges. The staked KSM is locked and has no utility beyond earning rewards. Staking through Polkadot.js requires high staking minimums along with a 7-day unbonding period. Finally, the UX can be frustrating, with many users turning to centralized exchanges that offer a simplified experience but forces the user to forego the custody of their keys. And this is the issue, right? Because you're not in control of your keys, but the exchanges do offer the simplified experience because they realize that it's just so complex to stake on the Polkadot.js web wallet, right? And if you're not techie, it can be quite challenging, right? People are afraid of that. I know many people have been emailing me in the past saying that they've accidentally sent their DOT or their KSM to validators instead of staking. So they've actually made a transfer. So it just shows you like it's not user friendly and people can get wrecked. So let's talk about it, right? Liquid KSM. Liquid KSM allows users to stake their KSM while maintaining access to its liquidity. A game changer in the world of staking. When KSM is staked, users receive LKSM. With the additional benefit of it being yield earning token. So while LKSM's accessible liquidity, with LKSM's accessible liquidity, users can make additional use of their stake with other DeFi protocols, including Karura's other products. For example, LKSM can be used as collateral for a KUSD stablecoin loan, for trading within the DEX in an LKSM QUSD pair, or for becoming a liquidity provider in the LKSM KSM pool. One can quickly see how this creates some interesting DeFi use cases, and I totally agree. Like these are the 3 different options here that we've got with LKSM, whereas with KSM, it's just staying there, you're staking, you're generating those dividends, you don't care about it. But with this, you can be more active, you can actually contribute. That's the beauty of it, right? Now what's more, Liquid KSM also offers low staking minimums and no unbonding period for the underlying KSM. So that's the beauty of it, right? Since users can unbond at any time for a small fee. Join the LKSM liquid staking splash, that's what they call it, and to celebrate the launch of it, Karura is kicking off a new liquidity mining program to reward the community with 350,000 KOR. The liquidity mining program has 2 ways to earn: stake KSM for LKSM and earn by staking your newly minted LKSM, or 2, stake KSM for LKSM, then provide liquidity for the new LKSM KSM pair. Starting on Tuesday, September 28th, participants can earn KOR rewards from these 2 new reward pools. Here's how to get your rewards. Reward pool 1. To qualify, stake KSM for LKSM and earn by staking your newly minted LKSM. The reward period is going to be for 2 weeks and it's 100,000 KOR. So let's find out, how does this actually work? Well, be sure that your KSM is unbonded and ready to move to Karura, they're saying here. So staking KSM on Karura requires transferring from KSM's relay chain, which is of course the main blockchain on Kusama. Think of it like your Polkadot.js wallet, where you may hold your Kusama or maybe even an exchange, right? To the Karura parachain. Once your KSM is on Karura, you'll be able to earn staking rewards while accessing its liquidity to compound your yield. And if you're new to transfer KSM to Karura, please see this guide to complete the cross-chain transfer. Again, you can actually see how you can transfer from exchanges if you go to this guide. So like I said, I will be posting a link in the description of this video for this article in case you want to go down in this article, read it in detail, and then click on the guide to follow it. Now, if you already have your KSM on Karura, you're ready for the next steps, which is to stake your KSM for LKSM. So how does it actually work? Let me see. You toggle that, you stake your LKSM. We know about that bit. Now, by staking your LKSM, you can now mint KUSD if you choose, and you'll see this as an option in the Mint KUSD tab. If you've already collateralized your LKSM for KUSD prior to start of this LKSM Splash program, you'll simply need to stake the LKSM on the Karura Earn tab in the collateral staking section. So this can get a bit complicated here. It may actually require a tutorial eventually, but this is how it works. Now you're now qualified to earn KOR rewards, and KOR rewards will continue to be accrued over the course of the rewards period so long as LKSM is deposited in the stablecoin protocol during the LKSM Splash event. There's also reward pool 2, which is to stake KSM for LKSM and then provide liquidity. This will last for 4 months. 250,000 KOR is given. You can be sure KSM is unbonded and ready to move to Karura, staking it, etc. So you'll be able to earn staking rewards while accessing the liquidity. Once again, they're saying the same thing here. Now stake a portion of your KSM. So from this pool, you will become a liquidity provider for the LKSM KSM trading pool, meaning you'll need to provide a proportional amount of LKSM and KSM to the pool, since you'll need both, which is normal, right? Because you do need to supply tokens from both from the full pair, and in this case the pair is LKSM to KSM. So yeah, next, provide liquidity to the LKSM pool. Navigate to the swap tab, add liquidity. Yeah, so basically you just have to follow all these this full guide here. And the rewards are due to start on Tuesday, September 28th. As a reminder, the rewards in the above LKSM Splash Liquidity Mining Program start on Tuesday. So get your KSM unbonded and send a cross-chain transfer to Karura to prepare for the start of the program if you are interested. So yeah, what's my thought on this? I do think it's a good idea. The fact that you're actually doing something with that LKSM, but remember, there is a slight risk. Like now it's all good because now you're getting the rewards in KOR as well. So if you do decide to go through this event, you're taking the loss of LKSM being worth less than KSM because you're going to get these rewards in KOR. But if you didn't get these rewards, then I don't know how worth it may be. I would have to do the numbers, to be honest, but some people in the community have reported to me that the numbers are not doing so well in terms of the ratio between KSM and LKSM, in terms of the actual value. If you want to swap back, etc., say you're getting some KUSD and you want to swap back, then you may end up getting wrecked. So the fact that they're giving these KOR rewards is actually attracting the community. So I think while this reward period is on, I think it may be good. It may be good for you to test it out if you are interested. Again, not financial advice or anything, but if you do hold some KSM and you plan to stake it, maybe try it out with a small amount. Don't go too hard on it. Just try to familiarize yourself and see how it works. Follow their guide, etc. You know, that's what I would personally do. But I don't plan to stake any KSM for now. I've contributed all my KSM to Crowdloans and I continue to contribute to Crowdloans. So this is definitely not something for me, but maybe in the long term, who knows, if I would get enough KSM through the Crowdloans, eventually maybe when I decide to stake KSM, perhaps I would think about this option. But for now, to me, it's just focusing on the Crowdloans. So that's it from Karura. I mean, it's definitely bullish from my point of view because we're getting updates and we're getting use cases, right? So it's all about growing this DeFi platform and getting the use cases, right? Especially the borrowing part, because that's the awesome one, that you can now borrow crypto assets using crypto assets on Kusama. Next, let's talk about Calamari. This is one that people have been talking about on Telegram today, to be honest, because Calamari have botched up a little bit with the IDO. But if you look into it in detail and if you actually listen to the interview that not the interview, but the voice conversation that they've had in the chat today. There was a voice conversation. They've actually explained what is the reason behind doing this, right? So let's actually look at this first, and then we'll talk about the reasons, right? So what are they doing? Well, Calamari is creating this event, which is called the Bento Box event on Miso. So Miso is basically a platform within Sushi Swap. Okay, so that's where they can host the IDO, the initial decentralized exchange offering, which is like a token sale. However, before today's discussion, which received a lot of FUD from the community, and you can see this was edited, the idea was that the people can contribute to this token sale without any restriction on SushiSwap, and then they would get an unlock of the ERC20 version of Calamari, okay, an ERC20 version which would later be bridged to the substrate version on Kusama when transfers would be enabled, of course, but it would be freely tradable on SushiSwap and possibly even on Uniswap if they get listed there, if they had liquidity. So people were really annoyed with that. And why is that? Well, it's because 5% of the total supply would actually go to that, right? And I think that they've mentioned it here in this article. We could actually look at that. Let me see. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there we go. Early distribution. Yes, there we go. Yeah, this is where they mention it, the 5% here. But yeah, we'll get back to that in a moment. So yeah. What's the issue? Well, it's because you, as a contributor to the Crowdloan, right? You've contributed to this Crowdloan with the hope that this is a community token and there's going to be no other unlock. Yet it turns out that there is going to be an unlock, right? And it's not going to be an unlock straight away, but it is going to be a full unlock. Okay, so before the discussion that they've had today, what they're planning to do is to set up this IDO, the initially centralized exchange offering on SushiSwap, get people to contribute to it with a starting price of 1 cent, sell all 500 million KMA tokens, and then unlock 100% unlock it to, or fully unlock it to the IDO contributors. So, I mean, that was unfair to the Crowdloan contributors, right? And many people have jumped on this, and I understand why, right? I totally understand why. And I would have hoped that this wouldn't have happened. Or if they would have decided for this to happen, then, okay, why didn't they announce it in advance so people can at least know what to expect, right? Well, look at it this way. The reason why they've decided to do this, and now that we know the reason, we understand why they've decided to do it, and it's actually good, right? So the reason they decided to do it is because this was part of their marketing budget. So it isn't the tokenomics, it's the 5%, which was allocated to the marketing budget, but the team had 100% access to these 5% token, to 5% of these tokens. So instead, what they want to do is, instead of actually dumping the tokens for marketing purposes, right, in order to market the project, etc., they're going to be doing this IDO so that the community can decide what to do, basically decentralizing their assets. That's what the idea behind this is. Meanwhile, they're going to get $5 million worth of tokens, right? Because remember, the starting price is 1 cent for the IDO. So yeah, this is the idea here. This is the idea here, and that's the reason why they did it. And now that you know this information, hopefully it's more clearer for you as well. Yeah, they're basically pushing this now. So what they're doing is, instead of giving people the full unlock straight after the IDO, they're gonna wait until the Crowdloan contributors also get their unlock. So that means that the tokens are not going to be trading straight after the IDO on Sushi. So they're going to hold the IDO, but then it's not going to be till early October that they're going to get access to these tokens, but they will be fully unlocked, them fully available to be able to transfer out and sell on exchanges. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, aside from our contributions to the Crowdloan, but again, with our contributions, you could say that it's different because we are going to get our Kusama back next year in August, whereas these guys are actually paying money to buy it off the market. But again, we are taking a risk with Kusama as well, because you never know what could happen. If the bear market comes next year, then we could be down a lot, and then we'll end up losing based on the price of KMA if it's not going to do well, right? Because there's just so many people to sell, so many people that got in at 1 cent, right? So it is kind of it depends how you look at it, right? It could be good, it could be bad, but then if the team would have sold it all on the market, then that would have also been bad. So, you know, no matter how you look at it, there's something that you could comment about, right? So I think we just have to take it how it is. I do hope that they're going to increase the price. This was my only hope, that instead of 1 cent, they'll push it up maybe to 4 cents or 5 cents. I would have been happier with that, because then that would give more value to us, the Crowdloan contributors. And I think that would make it fairer, considering that they didn't tell us about this from before. And hopefully they will decide to do this. I would very much appreciate it. I'm sure you will too, as the community, right? To get the unlock at the same time as the Crowdloan contributors, and also to have the starting price at 5 cents instead of 1 cent, which I think is very, very low. So yeah, they're basically talking about it here. They've been designing the token economics, which prioritizes the community. Of course, that's the layout. With the support from, while the support from within the Polkadot and Kusama communities has been overwhelming, they've also seen support coming from beyond these ecosystems. In response, they'll be bringing Calamari tokens to the Ethereum network as well. They're proud to announce that an ERC20 KMA token will combine Calamari's PriFi privacy finance capability with the flexibility of ERC20 tokens. They're launching the Bento Box event on Sushi Sauce Miso. With this event, they'll be growing their community beyond 16,000 supporters and 3,000 ambassadors to tens of millions of Ethereum community members. By doing this, they'll be expanding their ecosystem to bring in users from outside of the Polkadot and Kusama communities, bridging access to DeFi activities happening on Ethereum, and beginning support to bridge assets from Ethereum. So yeah, if you are interested to know more, again, this is the distribution that they've got: a development fund, a lock drop fund, early distribution. As you can see here, 100% is unlocked for early distribution, market expansion and price discovery. So this is the one that is going to get assigned to the IDO. And as you can see here, 5% of the KMA's total supply will be distributed to this event, to this MISO event, in an effort to promote the wider use. KMA will be supported by products like Ethereum, like MetaMask, while holders can participate in DeFi activities. The allocation for the IDO comes from the marketing budget of 5%. The marketing budget is available at TG and was intended to be liquidated through the market to build a budget. Okay, so this is the trick here. This is what you got to keep in mind before you FUD. And this is why I should have read before. I was thinking about like, oh my God, why did they do this? Why didn't they tell us, right? So yeah, the marketing budget is available at TG, and that was intended to be liquidated through the market. Imagine 500 million insta dump on the market. So I could see why they've decided to do this, right? To keep it safer for the Crowdloan contributors in a way. And now that they're pushing this to instead of unlock at the end of the IDO, to unlock when the token transfers are enabled. So this is definitely something bullish. So yeah, if you want to read, again, I'm going to post a link to this article as well, because there's quite a bit more information here. But to me, this was the one that I really wanted to cover. And finally, because this video is getting quite long, by the way, maybe I'm boring you, but this interview here needs to be watched. Like, I've watched some of this interview. I still have about half to watch. But you get to learn more about Calamari. You get to learn some things that you didn't know about Kenny as well, the co-founder of Calamari and Manta. They've actually been interviewed by Kraken Exchange. So that begs the question, will Kraken list them after all, even though you couldn't contribute to Calamari using Kraken? I don't know, right? I mean, we've been told no, but we have to see. We have to see. Maybe this was an older interview which has just been uploaded. So then in the meantime, the legal team said, no, sorry, we can't do that. But I know somebody said in my comments that apparently they're not doing that. And it's not the case. It's not that the legal teams have said no. So we'll have to see what is the situation. Maybe they were in talks. Maybe they will get listed eventually. But I will definitely be happy to see them on Huobi regardless, even if they don't go on Kraken, just as an extra big exchange, so to speak. So yeah, that's it from today's video. As always, let me know in the comments below. And a kind reminder, if you want to support Altair, please do use my referral link in the description of this video for 5% contribution bonus. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.